Hey guys, it's Miss Manley again. I'm just checking in on those of you who might be struggling a little bit with function notation. I just want to check in with you and see how you're doing. So again, we're going to talk about function notation today. So I kind of threw everything at you in a video series. But that doesn't mean we don't need to keep practicing and finding ways to practice. So I want to talk about some of the different ways that we've looked at so far. So we started out with this, f of x. Remember, this is basically the name of the function, okay? The x here is the input. So when I'm given something like f of 6, that means since x is the input, I'm going to input 6 into whatever the function is. So let's say my function is f of x equals 2x plus 6. So if it tells me, if it tells me to find f of 6, it's telling me to input 6. And I have to input it into the x, okay? So when I write f of 6, that's like saying y equals, okay? That's just part of my equation. The important part is where you input it. So 2, and then as soon as you hit that x, you want to put in parentheses, 6, close parentheses, plus 6. Multiply it out. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 6. F of 6 equals 18. Okay. Here's another one. So same thing, but this time let's do one with an exponent. So let's say I have g of x equals x squared plus 15, okay? And it gives me g of 4. Then that means I'm going to take 4 and I'm going to input it for x. So I'm going to say, instead of x, parentheses, 4, parentheses, squared, plus 15. 4 squared is 16, plus 15 equals 31. What if it's a negative? So let's do g of negative 4 equals. So again, as soon as I hit that x, parentheses, negative 4, close, squared plus 15. Remember that squared means that number times itself. So a negative times a negative makes a positive. So I'm still going to get 16 plus 15, which is 31. Now, here's the big difference. Let's say instead it was a negative x squared. So now I'm going to put g of 4 into negative x squared. So I put negative parentheses when I see the x, 4, close parentheses, squared, plus 15. All right. That negative sign is outside the parentheses. It's not a part of it. That negative sign really means negative 1. So really what we have is negative 1 times 4 squared, which is 16, plus 15. So now we have negative 1 times 16 is negative 16, plus 15 is negative 1. The big thing I wanted you to see here is the difference that an x squared versus a negative x squared can make. Again, if you download the Desmos test mode, not just the Desmos app, not one that says Desmos calculator, Desmos test mode. It's blue and it has like a little like white shield icon. And you're going to use the middle calculator called scientific. Doesn't matter whether you do practice mode or test mode. And you can literally type all of this in. Negative 1, open parentheses 4, close parentheses squared, and so on, so that you're not missing any little integer errors here and there. All right, so let's talk about another part of function notation that we've learned about. So we started out with the inputting. Then we started seeing things like this. So then we had f of x equals, 2x plus 4. Okay, and then we would get find x when f of x equals 16. This one's different. This one, I don't have an input, okay? To have an input, it has to be in parentheses, and an input is x. What I have instead is the name of the function, f of x. So it's saying f of x is, because equals means is, 16. So that means wherever I see f of x, I replace it with 16. So I see f of x right here, so I'm going to replace it with 16. So I'm going to say 16 equals 2x plus 4. Because I'm trying to find x now, so I should be solving for x. And then I just solve. Minus 4, minus 4. 12 equals 2x. Divide by 2. X equals 6. Okay, let's do another one. G of x equals 3x minus 5. Find x when g of x equals 16. So again, it doesn't say input. There's nothing inside the parentheses. What it says is g of x equals or is 16. So g of x right here gets replaced with 16. So I'm going to say 16 equals 3x minus 5. Solve. Add 5. Add 5. 3x equals 16 and 5 is 21. Divide by 3. And x equals 7. Okay. I'm going to give you one to do now, or two to do now. So I want you to try these. I'm going to put them on here, and then I want you to pause your screen and try to work them out on your own, and then check to see how you did. So f of x equals, sorry, I'm just making stuff up here, x squared minus 3, and I want you to do 2. I want you to find f of 6 and f of negative 1. On the other side, we'll have g of x equals 4x plus 5, and you're going to find x when g of x equals, I should put that down here, when g of x is equal to, give me just a second, I'm trying to make sure I come up with a number that works properly. When g of x equals 25. Okay, so go ahead and give those a try. Pause your screen, work them out, and then hit play and see how you did. Alright guys, we're back. Hopefully you hit pause and tried working these out on your own. Math is about practice. You can't just watch me. If you just watch me and you're never working these examples out along with me, you're not going to get it. That's one plus that you have over the kids that are in person, is that you could go back and watch these videos at any time you want, as many times as you want, and practice and work them with me, whereas they just have me for that amount of time that they're in class. Alright, so for f of 6, this is telling me input in place of x. So I'm going to say equals parentheses 6 squared minus 3. 6 times 6 is 36 minus 3. 36 minus 3 is 33. Boom. F of negative 1. I'm going to say parentheses negative 1 squared minus 3. Negative 1 times negative 1 makes positive 1. Minus 3 is negative 2. On the other side, we're no longer doing the input. Now we're finding x. If it tells you to find x, you can't replace x. If you replace x, you're not going to find it. Okay? So, excuse me, g of x equals 25. This means g of x is 25. So I'm going to replace g of x with 25. 25 equals 4x plus 5. Subtract 5 on both sides. 4x equals 20. Divide by 4, and x is equal to 5. Questions so far is what I would say in class. I know I can't really answer your questions right now, but I do hope this is helping a little bit. The newest part that we added was the graph, so let me just find one of those to go over with you real quick. Well, let me just say for the word problems, remember for the word problems, it's just plugging in, and you need that scientific calculator to do these. And remember, you're just going to find, like, it keeps saying t seconds. So t is seconds, and then it says 3 seconds. So then everywhere there's a t, you'll put 3. And again, if you have that Desmos Test Mode calculator, you type this entire thing in, and it's going to give you your answer. Okay, so let's go back to graphs for a minute. So for the graphs, apply the same thing we've been talking about. Okay, this is an input. Input is x. X, 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 x. Find x when f of x equals 25, or I'm sorry, equals 5. If these inputs are x, then when it's like this is y. Okay, so when it says find f of 9, that's saying go to where x is 9. So I go to the x-axis, I look, here's where f is 9. That's at 9, comma 3. F of 4, I'm going to go to where f is 4, or x is 4. I'll look up. That's at 4, comma 5. Find f of 1, go to the x-axis to 1, look up. Boom. That's at 1, comma 2. F of 2, I'm going to go to 2. Look up, there's a point. That's at 2, comma 4. Okay, so I'm just finding the points. Again, when it says find x, again, if we're finding x, that's what I need. Well, on a graph, we only have two options, x or y. So this means f of x equals 5 means y equals 5. So I'm going to go to 5 on the y-axis and look across. There's my point. That point is at 4, comma 5. I already have the 5, so that means I need the 4. Find x when f of x equals 2. I'm going to go on the y-axis to 2. Oh, wait, sorry, let me go back up. This one has another point. So when I'm at 5, if I keep going across, there's another point right there at 8.5. That one has 2. Okay, when f of x equals 2, I'm going to look. Right here's a point at 1, comma 2. I already know the 2, so I need the 1. Keep going across. There's a point right here at 9.5. So there's my points. Okay, these are the main things that I want you to know right now. I want you to know, let me get back to that blank screen again. Alright, I want you to know that when you have f of a number, that's telling you to input for x. I want you to know when you have f of x equals a number, that you're taking that whole number and you're replacing the f of x. So I would get rid of f of x and say 36 equals 2x plus 3. On a graph, I want you to know when it gives you this, that's your x value, and you're finding y. When it gives it to you like this, that's your y value, and you're finding x. Okay, we're going to go from there. We're going to practice a time or two again next week, and we're going to get through it. If you have any further questions, email me, let me know. Have a great evening, and have a great weekend.